When did I first realize I was called to the priesthood? It was probably in 2019 after World Youth Day is when I made the decision to apply to seminary. Though when I reflect back on it more, I can see many instances back throughout my life where God was calling me. Most specifically was probably May 2018 when I went to Rome and I was praying in the Adoration Chapel at St. Peter's Basilica. I was pretty confident I heard God's call there.
I first heard the call to priesthood when I was in 8th grade. I was at Holy Trinity School in Wallingford, and I wasn't practicing my faith at the time, but having daily religion classes helped me to find answers to some very big questions about life and about the meaning of life. And I began practicing my faith again, and in doing so I found great happiness and great peace in following after the Lord.
I think it was during my high school years, but more specifically after I finished doing my Eagle Scout project. Ever since I knew that I had to do an Eagle Scout project, I always wanted to do it at my home parish, St. Rose of Lima, now North American Martyrs. And just the great amount of help that I received from the community really moved me to become more active within the parish because I was going to Mass and that was about it, but I wasn't really very active within the parish or taking my faith seriously. And I knew there was something special there when, being able to work at the parish with my Eagle Scout project, I received so much love, so much support from this community.
I first felt the call of the priesthood really when I was young, just from different comments and different insights given by whether it was my parents or priests at the parish. But really the moment that the vocation I really felt was calling out to me was actually at my confirmation at my home parish in 10th grade. And from there, it kind of just continued to grow to the point where I entered seminary.
I first got a call to the priesthood when I was in 3rd grade. Now St. John Paul II was dying on his deathbed, but I didn't really answer that call until I was a sophomore in college.
A conversation with a friend was a big influence on it. I'd had it in the back of my mind for a while, but I didn't really know how to go about discerning it. And at a certain point, I sat down with my best friend in a chapel, and it was just us and the Blessed Sacrament, and we were two single 20-something Catholic guys and started talking about the different states in life and where we thought God might be calling us. And after that, we agreed to pray together for a little while. We did a 54-day rosary novena together, each praying for each other's intentions. And I was praying to know one way or the other whether I should pursue the priesthood. And at the end of 54 days of praying for that, decided to give it a try. So.
Yeah, so that could be a long answer. I'll give you the short answer. I was studying for the Pope Pius XII religious award for the Boy Scouts, and I was about 14 or 15 years old. And the priest there asked if any one of us was interested in the priesthood, and I raised my hand. Now that was the start of my vocation story, and it was also the start of my the starter's gun running away from my vocation, which is the much longer answer, which maybe next time.
I can remember when I was as young as 3rd grade having a first thought of the priesthood, but it being something that was accompanied by a simultaneous immediate dismissal of the thought of, maybe Lord, but no, definitely not that. And that becoming my MO for dealing with that, you can say, for the next number of years of, I think the Lord might be calling me to the priesthood, but I don't want to consider that path. And it really was not until my junior year of high school when the Lord really hit me over the side of the head and said, please think about this and don't worry about it. I remember I was driving home from midnight Mass at the cathedral, and it was 1:30 in the morning on Christmas morning, and there was a snowstorm on I-84. And having all of a sudden, just as I'm driving, this thought of, think about it, it will be okay. And for that last year and a half of high school, really beginning to discern the priesthood in a very intentional way, and coming to the end of high school, finally having that thought of, all right, Lord, I don't know if this is what you're asking me, but I'm ready to try, and taking that leap of faith, that jump. And that was 4 years ago, and the Lord has not dropped me once. I've been so wonderfully surprised and grateful for all that the Lord has given me in these past 4 years.
I first realized that I was called to the priesthood when I was in second grade and after I received my first Holy Communion. And I asked myself, what is this? What am I receiving? Holding the host in my hand, the consecrated host in my hand. And it was at that moment where I realized that it was Jesus Christ who was in my hand and who I am receiving. And each time I went to Mass, I would always have that devotion to the Eucharist and a fervent love that kept burning inside of me saying, you're going to become a priest, you're going to become a priest. And after I graduated from Catholic middle school, St. Matthew's in Forestville, and going to St. Paul's in Bristol, I realized that I needed to start to take my faith a little bit more seriously than what I was. But I was really open to whatever God was calling me to, whether it was to become a teacher, going to the military, or become a physical therapist, or even become a priest in itself. And it was at the moment of my graduation, where each Catholic high school graduates from the cathedral, where I was walking down the aisle of the cathedral and I almost felt something tap me on my shoulder saying, this is not going to be the last time you walk down this aisle. And it was at that moment where I started to take my discernment towards the priesthood more seriously. And after a year and a half of community college, I was with my parents and my cousin and his fiance, and I was posed the question as to what I wanted to do after I graduate. And I said I wanted to become a Catholic priest. And it was at that moment that I started to apply for the Archdiocese of Hartford. And after applying, got accepted by Archbishop Blair in March of 2013 under the vocation director of Father Smith, and went to St. Charles Seminary, and now I'm at Mount St. Mary's.